What's up, everybody? It's Mike. We are officially in Oscars season. We have our nominations confirmed. I want to go over who my predictions are for these confirmed categories and just tell you where I'm sitting at as far as what I think is happening this Oscar season and what I thought of the nominations. So grab your popcorn and let's get into it. All right, first of all, my name's Mike. I do movie reviews here every day that a new film is coming out before they're out, so definitely subscribe if you like to know what you're going to go pay to see before you go see it. Also, I do these long-form videos. I try to do them once a week. Please like, comment, subscribe if you like this kind of content. And this week, I'm going to be talking about the 97th Oscar Awards that are coming up shortly. I want to let you know what my predictions were for these nominations, what the nominations actually were, and then who I think is going to win the category. So it should be kind of fun. I want to do this kind of like live off the cuff. So I've got my laptop here in front of me I'm going to be looking down at just to kind of refresh myself and let you know who my picks were originally and who they ended up deciding on. So let's get into it. Okay, so starting off with actor in a lead role, my initial guesses were here on the screen. I'm going to put them up, and they were Coleman Domingo, Timothée Chalamet from A Complete Unknown, Ralph Fiennes from Conclave, Paul Mescal from Gladiator 2, and Sebastian Stan from A Different Man. And it looks like, oh gosh, okay, I see what I did. I forgot that I could not vote for Adrian Brody. So I'm going to preface this by saying anywhere I could put the Brutalist in, I will put the Brutalist in, but it may not be in my notes. So in my particular critics organization, we couldn't vote on the Brutalist because it was not technically screened to all of our members, even though I did see it and I would have put it in there. So anywhere there is a nomination for Adrian Brody, I'm going to go ahead and assume that he is in there. So Adrian Brody, Timothée Chalamet, Coleman Domingo, Ralph Fiennes, and Sebastian Stan. So I pretty much was a 5 out of 5 for this one. And of these nominees, I truly think that this is going to go to Adrian Brody. I mean, he had the standout performance by far. This was the best one of his lifetime. There is no reason why he should not get this award, I think, over anyone else in that category. I really can't see anybody else getting that one. So for what it's worth, that is what I'm going with. Now, actor in a supporting role, I had, again, keep in mind that if the Brutalist could have been chosen by me, I would have put it in there. I would have put Guy Pearce in there. But I had Kieran Culkin for A Real Pain, Yura Borisov for Anora, Edward Norton for A Complete Unknown, Denzel Washington for Gladiator 2, and Peter Sarsgaard for September 5. So I was pretty close on this one, it looks like. Yura Borisov, Kieran Culkin, Edward Norton. They did put Guy Pearce in here, and then they chose Jeremy Strong from The Apprentice. So I did not actually see The Apprentice, so I don't want to say that I've seen that one because I have not. But the rest pretty much lined up for me. I am thinking and I'm hoping that Kieran Culkin will get this one. His performance in A Real Pain really stood out head and shoulders above anything else in that movie. I think the writing was the next best thing about that film. So I hope he gets this win because that would be absolutely incredible if he does. That's going to be my pick for that category is Kieran Culkin. Next up, we're going to do actress in a leading role. And my picks for this one are Mikey Madison for Anora, Angelina Jolie for Maria, Cynthia Erivo for Wicked, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Nicole Kidman for Baby Girl, and so many of these missed. I could not believe the announcements for this one, but Cynthia Erivo got in. Carla Sofia Gascon got in for Emilia Pérez, and the Academy did show some love to that movie this year. I enjoyed it. I thought it was interesting, but it wasn't my favorite thing, right? So that's going to be a very divisive film. The audience scores on that were not good. Personally, I thought it was one of those movies where, technically speaking, there was a lot of creative decisions, especially with the cinematography. I thought that was very well done in that film. But as far as acting and other things go, I could see her getting a nomination for that one. That one makes sense to me. But some of the other categories, I don't know if they would make that much sense to me. But Mikey Madison for Anora, Demi Moore for The Substance, and Fernanda Torres for I'm Still Here. That's another film I didn't watch this year, unfortunately, but I've heard very good things about it. I am definitely going to check that one out. And the Academy showed some love to that, just like Golden Globes did. So I think that Golden Globes nomination really kind of, or win actually, really kind of propelled her forward into getting this. So good for her. But of this group, who do I think is going to get an actress, the best actress in a leading role? Ooh, that is tough. I think the Academy is going to go for Carla Sofia Gascon from Emilia Pérez. I just think that that's what they're going to do. Personally, if it were up to me, I would love to see Mikey Madison get that, or even Demi Moore, because both of those films, especially Demi Moore, she put herself so out there for that movie. It's almost like, how could you not recognize her for doing that? So I don't know. That's going to be a tough call for sure. But I think it's probably going to go to Gascon. But we'll see what happens, right? Next up is actress in a supporting role. So this one on my list, I had Zoe Saldana with Emilia Pérez, Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, Ariana Grande for Wicked, Margaret Qualley, The Substance, and Elle Fanning for A Complete Unknown. I got some of these right. So Monica Barbaro, they did Complete Unknown, and they did get Ariana Grande for Wicked. Felicity Jones for The Brutalist. Again, like I said, I would throw The Brutalist in there whenever I could. Isabella Rossellini for Conclave, and Zoe Saldana for Emilia Pérez. So for this one, I am going to go with maybe Isabella Rossellini, I think, is who they're going to lean towards. That is just my gut feeling. Felicity Jones could also be a pick, and Zoe Saldana, I don't know. This one's a very tough decision, but I'm going to stick with Isabella Rossellini for that one. Next up, Best Animated Feature Film. Now this one on my list, I had The Wild Robot, Inside Out 2, Flow, Mufasa, and Moana 2. I almost got all these right. I got Flow, Inside Out 2. Memoir of a Snail, I did not vote for because I did not see it, but I heard it was very good. Wallace and Gromit, Vengeance Most Foul. Again, I did not watch that one. And The Wild Robot. So I would like The Wild Robot to win, but I think Flow is going to win this one. This is an easy, kind of an easy victory for Flow. I think we'll see what happens. Animated short film. I'm going to leave this one out because I'm not going to talk about the categories that I didn't particularly vote on, and I did not vote on that one. Cinematography. So my picks for cinematography was Challengers, Nickel Boys, Nosferatu, Maria, and Conclave. And their choices were The Brutalist, which I would have put in, Dune Part 2, which I did not see, so I don't count that one. Emilia Pérez, which I know it has good cinematography, but I wasn't expecting it to be in there. Maria was in there, and Nosferatu was in there. And I think that this one's hands down going to go to The Brutalist out of this. They may vote Emilia Pérez if they're really all for that film. It may go that way, I'm not sure. But I for sure know The Brutalist is my favorite out of those as far as visually speaking. And I can't speak on Dune Part 2, but I'm going to go with The Brutalist for this one. Okay, next up is costume design. So for this one, I had Nosferatu, Wicked, Saturday Night, Beetlejuice, and Gladiator 2. And they chose A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Gladiator 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. So I got 3 for 5 on that one. I think that of these, it could most likely go to Wicked. I would like it to go to Nosferatu, I think, but I think that Wicked is going to win this one. Okay, going down the list to Best Directing. Again, I would totally have Bradley Corbet in my list had I been able to vote for him. But for Best Director, I would choose Sean Baker, Anora, Edward Berger, Conclave, Ramel Ross for Nickel Boys, John Chu for Wicked, and Corley Forja for The Substance. Again, I would probably replace John Chu for Bradley Corbet for The Brutalist for this one. And the nominees were actually Sean Baker for Anora, Bradley Corbet for The Brutalist, James Mangold for A Complete Unknown, Jacques Alliard for Emilia Pérez, and Corley Forjat for The Substance, which is, I am so happy that she got in for this one. What an incredible film if you haven't seen that. So of this one, I'm going to have to give this to Brady Corbet for The Brutalist. This film is just exceptional. I would like it to sweep this year. I hope it does. You know, if the Academy goes all in on Emilia Pérez, of course it's going to get Best Director too. I think that would be the most divisive Oscar win in history if it does. If it sweeps all the categories that it can. I think it's been nominated in actually the most categories out of any film this year. I believe it was 13 nominations, which is crazy to me. But it's one of those films that has such a low score with both critics and audience scores alike. I just don't get it. But hey, it's not me making the votes, you know? So it is what it is. I'm going to skip documentary feature film and documentary short film and move down to film editing. So for film editing, I chose Emilia Pérez, Conclave, Saturday Night, Challengers, and September 5. Again, I probably would have had Brutalist in here somewhere. And they chose Honora, The Brutalist, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, and Wicked. Why would they leave out Challengers is beyond me. That editing was insane. Why would they leave out The Substance? Also crazy. But I figured they wouldn't give that film too many nominations, and it looks like they didn't. So it is what it is. But out of this, for film editing, I may have to go Emilia Pérez for this one. It had some creative cuts, and just trying to think. Also, Conclave really did too. So knowing how they're going to vote, though, I'm almost tempted to say this is going to go to Emilia Pérez. And I guess that's going to be my final answer. I'm going to lock in is that one. Oh, international feature film is next. I think that this is going to go to Emilia Pérez, and the nominees were I'm Still Here, The Girl with the Needle, Seed of the Sacred Fig, and Flow. I did not see all those films. I saw Flow, and I started Seed of the Sacred Fig, and I did not see The Girl with the Needle, so I don't know why that one's in there. And I have to watch I'm Still Here also. But I do think if they're going to do, I mean, they nominated Emilia Pérez in so many things, and it is a French-made, Spanish-speaking musical. I don't see how they couldn't nominate it for Best International, but you never know. Maybe I'm Still Here. I think the Brazilians are here to represent for their film, and we'll see what happens with that one. So it's definitely going to be one of those two, I think. Makeup and hairstyling. Makeup and hairstyling is next. My picks were Nosferatu, The Substance, A Different Man, Saturday Night, and Beetlejuice. And their picks were A Different Man, Emilia Pérez, Nosferatu, The Substance, and Wicked. So, another half-seas for me. But of these films, makeup and hairstyling, this is a tough category because you got to think, what are they looking at, right? Are they looking at prosthetics? Are they looking at hair? Are they looking at practical things? It's very difficult. A Different Man, I think the prosthetic work in that film was incredible. I think that the prosthetic work in The Substance was insane. So, I don't know. And Nosferatu, Emilia Pérez, Wicked, they're all really good picks. This is probably one of the harder categories for me just because I don't know the logic behind how they pick for this category. But I think if they do it off of prosthetics and things like that, I guess it would have to go to A Different Man. And then if they did more on like styling and stylistic choices, maybe Wicked. It's so hard for me to judge this one. Or they might just give it to Emilia Pérez like they might give everything else to that it's nominated for. So we'll have to see what happens. I'm going to play it safe, and I'm going to go with, oh man, this is hard. This one's really hard. I'm probably going to go with maybe Nosferatu, because it kind of combines everything, right? You've got the period hairstyles, but you've also got the prosthetics on Count Orlok. I'm going to do that. I'm going to go Nosferatu. Next one, music original score. The Selections I chose were Challengers, Emilia Pérez, Nosferatu, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. And they chose The Brutalist, which I would have given it to, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot. So pretty close. They just also had Conclave in there. So, oh, man. I love the music from The Wild Robot, and it would be awesome to see this film get that win. Wicked, of course, that's the whole point, is the music. So I don't know. I'm gonna go Wicked for this one. And then the original song, best original song. And this year, guys, by the way, they're not going to do the thing where they perform the song live, which is a travesty, because I wish that song, there's this one song in Emilia Pérez where they're singing about penises and vaginas, and I would have done anything to see that performed live on stage, but not going to happen this year. It's not nominated. But the best original song that I had chosen were the one from Challengers, Compress Repress, Mi Camino from Emilia Pérez. I chose Forbidden Road from Better Man, Kiss the Sky from Wild Robot, and Like a Bird from Sing Sing. And their nominees were El Mal from Emilia Pérez, The Journey from the 6888, which I have not seen, Like a Bird from Sing Sing, Mi Camino from Emilia Pérez, and Never Too Late from Elton John. So I'm surprised that they snubbed Wild Robot here. That's a very good song. And also shocked that they snubbed Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross with the song from Challengers. I think maybe they just forgot about this movie and how good the music and editing and everything about it was. So a little disappointing. And then they put 2 in here from Emilia Pérez. So it is what it is, you know? Of this list here, it's going to go to one of those Emilia Pérez songs. I just don't remember which one. It's whatever the one was that won Golden Globes, which I didn't even like as much as the other song. I think it was Mi Camino, that one. I'll have to check. But I think that's going to win. Not my favorite, but whatever. And then let's talk about Best Picture. I'm just going down the list that it's on the Academy Awards website, and this is the order that they have, so this is what we'll do. My nominations for Best Picture: Brutalist, I'm just going to say it because I had that one in there. Anora, Wicked, Conclave, Complete Unknown, and The Substance. Now they do more nominations, so we'll see how this lines up. Anora, The Brutalist, Complete Unknown, Conclave, Dune, which I didn't see, is in there. Emilia Pérez, I'm Still Here, Nickel Boys, that's a surprise. The Substance, and Wicked. So this one, again, I think it's going to be complex because we've got Emilia Pérez nominated for so many things this year. I would find it hard to believe that wouldn't also win Best Picture. I think if we start seeing Emilia Pérez get all the wins for these other categories, it's going to win Best Picture for sure. If not, I would love to see it go to The Brutalist. So my personal choice from this list is going to be The Brutalist. However, I feel it could also go to Emilia Pérez. And I'll just leave it at that. I'm so proud that The Substance got on this list, by the way. And Wicked was great too. And Nickel Boys, I cannot believe that they put Nickel Boys on here. I was so hoping for that. I really wish we could have seen Sing Sing on here. But it didn't happen, unfortunately. I think that A24 just kind of dropped the ball on the marketing for that one. The release schedule was real wonky, too. I think if it would have had more time for people to watch before award season started, that could have got a little bit of a push. So we'll see what happens with their marketing efforts going forward on certain films. But super happy for Nickel Boys in that one, for real. Production design, we've got... My choices were Wicked, Nosferatu, Conclave, Gladiator 2, and Maria. Again, I would have subbed The Brutalist for Gladiator 2. Their choices were The Brutalist, Conclave, Dune 2, Nosferatu, and Wicked. So pretty much the same as mine, except again, I didn't watch Dune 2, so I didn't put it in anywhere. I'm going to give production design to The Brutalist, maybe Conclave, maybe Wicked. That's my personal pick, but I think that they're going to choose... Wicked for this one. if not The Brutalist. My whole hope is I'm cool with Emilia Pérez getting all these nominations and then picking up, Best Lead Actress over here and maybe another Best Original Song, that kind of thing, but then leaving kind of these bigger players to something like The Brutalist. I think if we see that happen, I think The Brutalist will get production design. And Emilia Pérez wasn't even nominated in this one, which is surprising because they did have a lot of different, interesting, unique elements to that production. So, I think visually from an audience standpoint, either Dune 2, Wicked, Nosferatu, those would probably be the go-tos for audience scores. But, I personally, I would like to see The Brutalist win this one. I think that would give us more of a better shot of it getting Best Picture. But realistically, it could go to anything. This is a very tough category to choose from. So we'll see what happens. My official pick is going to be, I'm going to go with Wicked for this one. I'm going to skip live action short film. Let's go to sound next. So sound, my choices were Nickel Boys, Emilia Pérez, A Complete Unknown, Civil War, and Gladiator 2. Their choices were A Complete Unknown, Dune 2, Emilia Pérez, Wicked, and The Wild Robot, which that's a surprise. So it's nice to see an animated film get a sound nomination. I'm not sure the last time I remember that happening, but I'm here for it. Wild Robot was great. If you haven't seen that, definitely check that one out. But for this one, let's see. Oh gosh, sound for this one. I really hope they do The Wild Robot. And the reason I say that is because it is so out of the ordinary for an animated film, so they really must believe in the sound qualities of that film. I'm going to go with The Wild Robot for their pick for that one. If not, it'll go to Emilia Pérez, but we'll see what happens. Okay, next up is visual effects. We're almost done here. A lot of categories. Visual effects, they nominate, or my choices were Twisters, Better Man, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, Alien Romulus, and The Substance. Their choices were Alien Romulus, Better Man, Dune 2, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and Wicked. This is tough. If it were me voting in this category, I would love to give this to Better Man. I'm a huge Better Man fiend. I love that film. But really, truly, visually, you get this kind of filmic grain look of like 70s, 80s film style. On top of that, you get this Planet of the Apes level CGI. It just makes for a really, really compelling watch. And visually, it's incredible. And then you get some of these really unique camera direction. It's so good. So to me, that's the standout one. Now, like I said, I hadn't seen Dune 2. That may take it. But for me, I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Better Man. I think the Academy's probably going to go Better Man, but they might do Dune 2 or Wicked. We'll see what happens, but I'm sticking with Better Man. And then writing for adapted and original screenplay. In my voting, I only choose from one category. So I just do screenplay overall, so these are combined. But Honora, Conclave, A Real Pain, Emilia Pérez, and The Substance, those are my choices, both for adapted and original. So I'm going to do the adapted screenplays here. The Academy Award nominees are going to be A Complete Unknown, Conclave, Emilia Pérez, Nickel Boys, and Sing Sing. I'm so glad to see both of those films in here. They're super important to me. I really enjoyed them. As far as adapted screenplay goes, though, I would hope that this goes to Conclave. I think the writing in it is very smart, and that's where I would lean towards for this one, although there's that Emilia Pérez factor, so they could just give it to Emilia Pérez and that be that. We'll see what happens, but if they don't give it to Emilia Pérez, I think this one's going to go to Conclave. And finally, we have the writing for the original screenplay category. This one we've got Honora, The Brutalist, A Real Pain, September 5, and The Substance. And while I think A Real Pain has the Like, one of the things about A Real Pain is that the best feature is probably the writing and Kieran Culkin's acting, but I don't think it's enough to surpass some of these other choices on here. The writing in Anora is very good, as is September 5 and The Brutalist, but I think The Brutalist has better acting than writing. So I might do September 5 for this one, just because it's not really nominated in that many other categories. So that would speak to me as to why this writing stands out in particular. But also, Anora is a heavy contender that I don't think I've chosen for too many other categories yet, and it has a lot of nominations. So it'd be sad to not walk away with any wins. I'm gonna lock in Anora for this one. So for writing original screenplay, I'm gonna do Anora. So that's been all of my Oscar predictions, all the nominees, and all of my win predictions. A lot of stuff to go over. Thanks for sticking it out with me. I promise you I do more fun stuff than this, but I just wanted to put this out there in case anybody was interested in following along or watching the Academy Awards this year. So they're going to be on Sunday, March 10th this year, so be sure to be on the lookout for that. And I hope you enjoyed today's content. Thank you so much for subscribing, liking. Please leave me a comment down below if you'd like to see anything else Oscar related this season, or if you have any other ideas for future videos. I try and do one at least once a week. I appreciate all the subscriptions, all the likes, all the comments. I try and reply to every single one of you guys. So thank you again so much for watching and tuning in today, and I'll see you at the next show.